Awesome Sauce. Rainbow Dash was having problems. Really bad problems. An unfortunate side effect of being a female pony is that about twice a year after maturity is reached, one becomes receptive to bearing a foal. Despite having evolved past the worst of such primal instincts, most females become distinctively more susceptible to the, masculine nature of colts. Some do not have problems with it, especially if they are only attracted to those of similar gender. In those cases, they simply find themselves slightly more sexually inclined than usual. Rainbow Dash always believed herself to be on the, more female on female inclined end of the spectrum. Then again, she never had felt any interest in most colts, usually because they were so focused on trying to prove how awesome they were. As a pony who exudes the very quintessential energy of awesomeness, she found this, somewhat ironically, difficult to stomach. That is, until she ran into one colt in the library while she was reading her latest Daring Do book. A colt who effortlessly was more awesome than her in one way. But that one specific way was enough to rankle in a way she did not expect it to. It was made worse that he did not even seem to really care about his raw awesomeness. He never showed it off to anyone. She had to best him in order to keep her name as the most awesome pony in Equestria, and so she started to train with a vengeance. Now that she was suddenly right smack dab at the start of her receptive cycle, she just figured out that her scheduled training sessions was not going to work out, especially since her trainer was that colt. She could just miss the damn session, but that would be a show of weakness, and a show of weakness just wasn't cool. But as she flew down to the colt's home, she was getting second thoughts. The burning in her abdomen was steadily getting worse, and she really needed to relieve herself soon. It did not help that her thoughts constantly went back to the colt and how awesome he was, and how amiable he was to her, and how cute their foal would look. Okay, girl, gotta focus. Gotta be cool. 'Cause losing her cool would just be so uncool. You idly dragged your pencil across the sheet of paper, trying to calm your nerves. It was not all the time that a mare you admired would be showing up at your doorsteps in a few minutes. You felt so lucky to have met her. A common interest in a certain book series birthed a set of conversations and library dates you will never forget. And yet, you let out a sigh. She never seems to really notice you. She's always all brash, all brawn, excitable, energetic, demanding, and yet you loved her because of it. You worry away at the end of your pencil, wondering just how exhausting today's session would be. She was a quick learner, focused despite being so energetic. Drawing sessions with her left you both exhausted and terribly unsettled. The scent of her mane would remain, driving you crazy with thoughts of her hair brushing gently against your chin. The feeling of her lips against your own. All that energy focused on... No. You could not force her to do that with you. Unless she wanted it. No. You needed to think straight about things. You let out a sigh and the pencil slipped from your lips and clatters onto the drawing desk. You give your sketch a quick once-over, noticing how similar Daring Do and Rainbow Dash looked without color. With a practiced motion, you pick up your pencil and quickly sketch in Dash's key mark. You take a moment to review your work. Anatomy is off. With that, you slipped it quietly into a folder labeled Private on your desk. This wasn't going to work. Rainbow Dash stood in front of the door, rubbing her haunches together. She was blushing powerfully as she scented the thick scent of a stallion, a thick blanket draped across the house. After biting her lips for a moment, she galloped to a small group of trees to quickly relieve herself. She prayed to Celestia that the colt didn't hear her lustily whimpering his name while she did so. Your ears swivel around a bit, and you hear the sound of galloping hooves. Curious, you approach the door and you open it slightly to take a peek outside. There wasn't a soul in sight, and nary a hint of sound in the air, save the slight breeze and whimpering of wildlife. With a slight shrug, you shut the door quietly. After a shuddering climax and a few deep breaths, Rainbow Dash found that she could focus much better. She was going to have to make this drawing session short. Really short. After wiping off her hooves, she slowly stood up and walked to the door to knock. Right when you picked up your pencil again, you hear a tentative but firm knock at your door. That was straight up unusual for Rainbow Dash, and so you approach the door with caution. You open the door slowly to reveal a very nervous Pegasus and a most unusual scent. Hey, she says, her voice cracking. Can I use your bathroom real quick? Sure, you reply, your heart suddenly hammering on its volition. What brought this on? Thanks, she squeaks, darting inside and through the hallway. You hear the bathroom door slamming behind her. How incredibly unlike her to ask in the first place. You shake your head and start towards your desk, only to slip on some strange, unidentifiable fluid. With a sigh, you pick up a rag from the side of your desk and wipe up the small fluid trail that Dash left behind her. She must have been mucking around with rain clouds again. A few minutes later, a much more refreshed and normal-looking Pegasus appears from the bathroom. She freezes for a moment when she sees you, but walks towards her designated table. Sorry about that, she said, sounding much more like herself. Pegasus stuff. I see, you say, nodding. You take a small sniff of the air, taking note of the presence of that strange scent again. So, Rainbow Dash exclaims rather suddenly, making you jump a good 2 feet into the air. I was hoping we could do a super quick session today. Sure? You say, still a bit dazed. What do you have in mind? She shuffles her hooves a bit for a moment. I want to watch you draw. She had to think fast. What was a good, fast lesson that could distract him from her scent? She could watch him draw. Yeah, that's it. He would be too absorbed to notice her heat, and she could learn something at the same time. It was the perfect, most awesome idea. Flawless. That's perfectly fine. Just stay here right next to me. Buck. Hey, sorry about this, but my videos have been condemned by YouTube, and they have placed a limit on the length of the video, capping at 15 minutes. I hate to do this, but if you would like to listen to the next part, you can either click the annotation on the screen or click the link in the description for mobile users. Real sorry about this, but what can I do? See you there.